Welcome back to the O Hockey Show, and good morning to you. And I am bringing you information that you need to know from last night's hockey this morning, so when you go to school or anything else, you can know more than your friends and be the hockey genius that you know and you want to be. And Owen, I'm going to supply that to you. So let's take a look at what happened last night. So let's start off with Buffalo versus the Edmonton Oilers. The Edmonton Oilers, currently tied for third place in the Pacific Division, are currently in a wild card spot. And with this win, they're just trying to advance and get a more secure spot in the standings, of course. And the Buffalo Sabres, on the flip side, are currently in that four-way tie for third place wild card spot in the East, and are only 3 points away from being in the second spot, 4 points away from being in the number one spot. So Buffalo, both these teams really a must win. Both of them need to secure a spot. Buffalo out of it right now. They need to get in, and the Oilers trying to stay in and secure a spot. So must win for both sides of the ice. And of course, the Oilers come up with a big win, and mainly because Connor McDavid, of course, the hockey god, scores 2 goals tonight, being phenomenal, and he breaks, or he ties, I forget if he breaks it or ties it, his career high with 124 points, and his goals were number 53 and 4 of the season. So absolutely phenomenal. If you say anyone else is a better player, you are just wrong. I don't care. You are just wrong. And I want to have a debate about this. I'm going to schedule something like that to have a actual debate about who the best is. But McDavid, in my opinion, is the best. You can say whatever you want, but you are wrong in my eyes. McDavid is the god of hockey. But he scores 2 goals tonight in the game winner, and so good job for him. And moving on to another goal is Jeff Skinner. Skinner scored on Skinner. Jeff scored on Stewart. Jeff Skinner scored his 27th of the season, and which looking pretty good for him. Skinner, and also Tage Thompson got an assist. Dylan Cousins got a goal. So all the big guys on the Buffalo Sabres getting points at least. And that was what you need to see. And Jeff Skinner getting 27 goals. He's just going to keep going, and I think next year is probably going to even be better. And that $9 million contract, not looking too bad now. I mean, really, if it's getting this team to win games, it working. And obviously, you can't expect Jeff Skinner to score goals on an absolutely miserable team like he has been, and now this team's finally good because all the young guys, and now you have a superstar in Tage Thompson. Things are actually coming together now, and I bet you're not looking at Jeff Skinner so badly anymore. I'm not. So, Jeff Skinner scores on Skinner. Moving on to Ekholm. Matthias Ekholm, the trade deadline pickup, the swap for him and Tyson Barrie and some other things. But he got an assist tonight on, I think it was a McDavid goal. And, so Matthias Ekholm getting an assist as well, being a defensive. And look at that. They kept the Buffalo Sabres, one of the better offensive teams, at only 2 goals, so obviously something's working there. And other things to note, Leon Draisaitl's point streak has ended tonight. Thompson, this is an interesting one, has the most points of a Sabre since the 2006-2007 season, which was led by Daniel Briere with 95 points and Thomas Vanek with 84, or 82, something like that. So, obviously, I know Tage Thompson is a freaking stud, and here he is just being as dominant as, 95, do you think he breaks 95 this season? I gotta think he does. He's only like 10 or 11 points away, so with the way he's playing, I have no doubt in my mind that he's gonna break that, and he's gonna, I wonder what the Sabres' best season is by a player. Wonder if he could break that. Maybe that's Daniel Briere's. I have no idea. So so Tage Thompson, absolute stud of a player, and then we got McDavid having he's now the third player since 2000-2001 to have 124 points. The other people, Nikita Kucherov, of course, in the 2000, I keep forgetting the number. I didn't write the year, but with 128 points in that amazing Tampa Bay season when they tied the Detroit's record. And Joe Thornton, the year he was traded, 2005-2006, from Boston to San Jose, he also got 125 points. So McDavid right there behind those guys, only 1 point behind Joe and 4 behind Kucherov. So McDavid, absolute stud of a player, but we already know that, but he's the best. But moving on to Chicago versus Ottawa. Now, Ottawa is also in that 4-team tie, trying to get into the playoffs there in the Eastern Conference, so they need to win, and especially they go out there and pick up Jacob Chychrun, so they have a super solid defenseman back there now. How they need to win, and Chicago is a miserable team and don't need to win. How does the game go? Of course, Chicago comes up with a win, 5-0. They shut out the Ottawa Senators. Absolutely stupid of the Senators. Can't even get a point on the board. But the big thing is this was Alex DeBrincat's return home to Chicago since the trade this offseason, which was a really stupid trade. And the fans were not booing him, but as they should. It's not his fault he got traded. I'm sure he didn't want to be traded. I bet it wasn't on his mind. He definitely didn't ask for it. So he comes home. Fans are cheering him, actually, instead of booing him, which is a nice, refreshing thing to see, that fans are actually smart enough to know that it's not his fault. John Tavares, of course, he left the team. DeBrincat got traded, not his fault. So I like that they cheered for him, and he definitely tried tonight, but I'll talk about it in a second. Ottawa definitely tried as well. They had 35 shots tonight, so they were trying, but Alex Stalock shut them down. He was locked in. Alex stay locked in, and Alex Stalock, from being on Minnesota to being on Chicago now, and even when he was on the Sharks, when I saw him originally, I don't even know where he went between then and now. He's a solid goalie sometimes. He's either just whatever or a dominant goaltender in net. And I know you can say that about any goalie, but he really is. He's really either the best or just whatever. So Alex Stalock, interesting goaltender to watch. And he's also a funny guy to watch too if you just watch him in a game. But other than that, though, the Ottawa Senators were definitely trying with the 35 shots. Led by that was Alex DeBrincat. He had 7 shots tonight, led the Senators in that category. And he also had 1 takeaway as well as 1 block shot. So he was definitely trying tonight. He was definitely putting his heart to try to score on his former team and put up a really good performance, which he did. Just unfortunately, he could get no points on the board. And Jacob Chychrun, your trade pickup, deadline pickup there, he was not invisible tonight. He was a -2, but mostly the people on this team were. And he had 3 shots tonight and led defenseman in that category. 1 takeaway and 0 giveaways and 2 hits. So he was definitely not invisible. He was making an impact, and that's all you can ask for a guy like that. But now moving on to a rematch of the first round of last year in the first round of the playoffs. A rematch of them was Dallas versus Calgary. So Dallas versus Calgary. Calgary 5 points away from being in a playoff spot. They are currently in the 3rd place wild card and 5 points away. They need to get some wins together. So they need to win tonight. Dallas, not so much. They are at they're in the 1st place in the Central Division by a couple points, so they're pretty good in where they're at. But you still need wins. And Calgary comes up with it 5-4 tonight. The Flames, they end a 5-game losing streak tonight, so that's a pretty good thing. They were on, I believe they were 0-3-2 in the last 5 games, so not doing pretty good. But their big guys came out to show up and get their guys over that hill. Nick Ritchie scored the first goal, which was assisted by Mackenzie Weegar. No, it wasn't. It was assisted by Kadri and someone else. But the Flames' big guys showing up. Jonathan Huberdeau with 2 assists, Kadri with 2 assists, and Mackenzie Weegar with 2 assists. So all their big guys showing up, finally getting their team over the hump of that losing streak, which is what you need, because they are probably losing because of that reason. Those guys not really showing up. And so did Dallas's, though. Of course, Jason Robertson with his a goal tonight, which is his 38th of the season. Max Domi scored his first as a Dallas Star, and so that's what you like to see from a guy like him. Rupe Hintz got a goal as well, as 30th of the season. Jamie Benn with a goal and an assist. His goal was his 26th of the season. So all the big names for Dallas showing up tonight. And Yeah, so there you go. So that's what you need to see from Dallas going into the playoffs this late into the season. Their guys just keep going and keep producing. Tyler Seguin as well had an assist. And so the game was all tied up. At the end, Jamie Benn tied it 4-4, and with 6.2 left of the game, Tyler Toffoli bangs home the game winner with 6.2 left. So Toffoli scores and wins it for the Calgary Flames. Poof! Yeah, look at that magic. And so moving on to the Jets versus the San Jose Sharks. This game went to overtime where the San Jose Sharks beat the Winnipeg Jets. Now, the Sharks need to lose as they are in the bottom of the standings, and basically they have no hopes, and they need to lose games. And at this point, the Winnipeg Jets, who are now needing to win more games as well, kind of in the same spot as the Oilers situation, kind of. So they need to win games to stay in the playoff hunt, right, and get a higher standings. I think they're going to make it regardless, but they are, you never know. You start losing games, the other teams might start winning. So really, the Winnipeg Jets a must-win tonight, and they lose in overtime to the Sharks. So the Jets lost their last 8 of 10. I believe they're 8-0. I think they're like 2-8-2 or something like that. No, not they're 2-6-2. So not doing pretty good for them, and not overtime not helping them any. What am I trying to say? So the Jets in a bad slump right now. If they keep getting points, if they won some more of those games, they'd be in a way better spot, but they keep losing, and it's not too good, especially losing to a team like the San Jose Sharks. And tonight, they were 0-for-6 when it comes to the power play. So their special teams, even going into the playoffs, not doing too good. And you'd think a team like Winnipeg, who's got so many top guys, a power play wouldn't be a problem for them. But against the San Jose Sharks, can't get anything done tonight. So Nino Niederreiter scores his first for the Winnipeg Jets. That's his number 14 of the year. Josh Morrissey and Kyle Connor got the assist on that goal, so pretty good for all those guys showing up. Pickup gets a goal. Your top guys getting the assist, so good job for them. Tomas Hertl scores his 17th of the year. 11 seconds left of the game to tie it up. So Tomas Hertl showing up big, being a superstar, getting that contract extension, being paid for it. But 17 goals, I'd like to see Hertl with more than that. Couture wins it in overtime. He scores on a breakaway from Erik Karlsson, who had 2 assists tonight. So Erik Karlsson just continues to be one of the best defensemen of all of time. I would like to say he's the best defenseman in the world, but because of his past seasons, I can't really say that. I'd like to see if he keeps doing what he's doing this year going forward. I would say he's better than Makar at this point, but I just can't. I mean, this season, yes, Erik Karlsson's better than Makar and all the other guys, but in all of the current league, who would you pick? You know what I'm saying. And then Winnipeg, they're now with this OT going into overtime. They get the 1 point, which gets them 1 point above Colorado at this point. So they are currently in the third place spot in the Central Division, but by 1 point, and a win would have gotten them by 2 points, obviously. But they lose and are only 1 point ahead of Colorado, which they do have game in hands against them. So Winnipeg in a pretty not dire situation, but because they're the wild card, they're pretty solid there. But you would rather get in the third or second spot than the first place. I mean, the wild card. So yeah. So moving on to the Capitals versus the LA Kings. So the Capitals, once again, one of those 4 teams tied for that third place spot in the wild card in the East, needing some wins, but they also did sell out their team during the trade deadline. So really, they're in they chose to be a loser than a buyer, and a winner. So they don't need to win necessarily, but you'd like to see them to win. And they've just been so inconsistent as of late. They lose to Anaheim, like, what was it, like 2-1 or something like that. Then they win against San Jose 8-3, and now they're against LA. So this road trip in California has been such an up and down hill for them, and it just continues. They lose 4-2. LA being second place in the Pacific Division with 80 points. So it's going to be a tough battle against the LA Kings regardless, and it's the end of your road trip in California. So it's going to be a tough battle there, and Washington loses. So they're still inconsistent when it comes to actually winning there because they're so close, but they just keep winning huge and then losing. So they just need to pick a path. And but good news is Rasmus Sandin, their pickup, their trade from the Toronto Maple Leafs, that young super defenseman, gets a goal and an assist tonight. It's his 5th goal of the year, and he assisted on Alex Ovechkin's goal, where he scored, of course, on the power play. And his 36th of the year and his number 816th career, so he's just keep going up. Gavrikov scores his 4th of the year for the LA Kings, so pretty, not for the LA Kings, but he scores for the LA Kings, and that's what you like to see from your defensive defenseman, is the score goals. Moving on to Arvidsson, gets 2 assists tonight, and Kempe with a goal and an assist. His goal is his 30th of the year, so that guy's just like superstar in the making still. Not superstar in the making, he already is. And LA, though, 0 for 5 on the power play tonight, and the Washington Capitals only 1 for 5, which of course was Ovechkin. So both these teams, even if they make it into the playoffs, need to work on that power play. And moving on to our final game of the night, the Vancouver Canucks versus the Nashville Predators, which went to a shootout where the Vancouver Canucks, Elias Pettersson, won the game and making it 4-3 win for them. So the Vancouver Canucks out of the race, really. 55 points. They're quite a few points behind them. They're 14 points behind. I guess that is 7-game wins. But that's, with so many games left and other teams playing, they're really out of the race. So they don't really have a chance. The Nashville Predators, however, do have an opportunity to make it in at this point. They have 68 points, and currently they're 6 points away from a playoff spot. So they still are in the race. That's only 3 wins behind, so they're still in it, but it's going to be a long ride. But basically, Nashville needs to win. Vancouver trying to win, but don't really need to. And Luke Evangelista gets his first 2 goals of the year of his career for Nashville, gets his number 1 and number 2, and great job by him. Tyson Barrie assisted on them, which was the weird trade from the Edmonton Oilers that I still don't understand. So, yeah, Tyson Barrie getting you points. And Elias Pettersson got the first star of the game as he got a goal tonight, and his number 30th, and the shootout winner. So that is all I need to tell you today. I know this is a long video, I'm not used to making these longer ones, and that is all I have to say. So thank you for watching this. If you somehow have made it to this point, and I wouldn't have, please feel free to pick up your free subscription down below by hitting that red subscribe button. If you like this video, leave a like, not a dislike, and thank you guys for just keep making my numbers go up. It's so surprising every day to wake up. For so many months, I would look at my subscribers numbers and it would just be stuck at like 76 forever. I was stuck at that number, and then at 86 I was also stuck. The stupid 6s, I just didn't go up, and out of nowhere every day I wake up I have 3 more subscribers, which I know eventually is probably going to slow down and it's going to be another drought of subscribers. But until then, thank you so much, and good morning. I'm still tired, and until next time, thank you for watching this. Too sweet, and ta-ta for now.